Hi everyone. Welcome to today's video. My name is Dr. Ray, and yeah, a little bit different today. I'm taking advantage of some downtime in between appointments since I got quite a bit behind filming videos for you guys because my 6-year-old destroyed my computer screen a few weeks ago. So I thought I would seclude myself here in surgery and entertain a video request today. So I have the headset on only to distract or eliminate some external noise distractions. But yeah, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to entertain a request I've been having in my back pocket for a couple weeks now. Let me hop over to the website to share with you guys. It's a company called Lotus. Hadn't heard of them. As usual, you guys come to me with these products that I have never heard before, but actually turn out to be pretty good options. And so the one that I was specifically asked for is the Dog Small Bites Chicken Adult Recipe. They've got, a lot of options in the dog and cat food realm here. So these are oven baked situation going on, if that's something that is interesting to you. But the one we're going to focus on today that was specifically asked for me was the Dog Small Bites Chicken Adult Recipe. And so this is getting 5 stars, but there was only 18 reviews. So you can, I'm sure, read through those if that's your fancy. It says it's oven baked in small batches in Canada, baked with meats, poultry, fish that have no added hormones or antibiotics, non GMO fruits and vegetables. They love the taste. So, um, that could be good. Maybe if you have a finicky eater. It says oven baked for a low starch delivery, less starch than a comparable extruded food. I'm not sure about that. You'd have to see if there's any paperwork or data to validate that statement. Honestly, as far as low starch goes, that's not really something that we focus on as a nutritional factor for dogs. So I don't really know that that's anything that I would be concerned about personally as a veterinarian. And it says our oven baked recipes are less processed than extruded pet foods, and that helps protect the nutrients, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Um, I know what they're doing. They're trying to get on that bandwagon. They're not a fresh food, but they want to try to capitalize on all the groundwork that the fresh food companies have laid down, saying that fresh is better. And so they know they're not fresh, but they want to say that they're not extruded, they're baked. Therefore, they're not as bad as some of the extruded things. Now, I don't fall into that category, that extruded is leaving the food nutrient deficient, because we know that's not true because they post the nutrient profiles on the bags. And so, those nutrients are there. And when you buy a pet food, that guaranteed analysis isn't, the analysis before the food is extruded. It is the analysis as the food is presented to you in the bag. So I get what they're saying. Some things may be more bioavailable, etc. But we know through feeding trials and years and years and years of research on extruded pet foods that they are nutritionally and adequately balanced, and it says it on the package as far as AFCO certifying them. So I see what they're doing, but I don't know that if they could substantiate that particular statement with any data to validate it. And then right here, it's an all life stage recipe, which for me, before we even get any further, is something that I would consider a big no. Anything that's all life stages is inherently nutritionally suspect, because you can't, if you're a nutritionist and you care about nutrition, you care about um, you know the health of pets specifically, and my specific pet, I don't want my pet lumped in with every other life stage, because what is nutritionally sound for a puppy is not what's nutritionally sound for an adult, and certainly not what's nutritionally sound for a senior. And so, I mean, it's very simple. A couple day old puppy, needs to drink milk, and so, that's one life stage. And then, you have a fast growing puppy that maybe needs to eat mush, and then you get to kibble, and then that kibble sustains a really rapid growth phase. And then that growth phase plateaus when we, are 12 months, the growth plays close. And then we get to your senior years where the body is slowing down. They all have nutritional requirements that are unique. And so, if a pet food company is serious about nutrition, they're going to be serious about properly marketing to the correct life stage, because then, only then, can they properly provide the appropriate nutrition. So, I don't like that. But we're going to go through my pet food scoring system here in a minute, and we are going to go through all of the different parameters. There's a picture of the kibble. So it is baked, but it does have like this classic kibble appearance to it. Got the back of the package, which we're not even going to use. We're going to use the information down here. And then we've got the front of the package, beautiful package, very nice artwork, dog playing the guitar amongst some fowl there. So I like I like the feather and the fowl. So that's nice for what it's worth. All right, got down to the reviews. Don't really want that. So let's start using Doctorate's pet food scoring system. And so if you hang out with me here on the Nutrition Nation, you know that we try to stay very objective. We try to eliminate some of the aspects of pet food nutrition that is most often confusing to people, and that is how pet food makes you feel. We don't really want to pick a pet food based on our emotions and our feelings. We want to pick a pet food based on facts because, we're ultimately responsible for our pets, and what our pets care more about is the nutrition that's in the food and not, at the end of the day, not, is it sustainable? Can you recycle? Is there 5 blueberries in it? That kind of a thing. It's not really about that. It's about the nutrition the food delivers first and foremost. And so that's what we're going to focus on today. In the ingredient panel, you can see chicken meal, rye, brown rice, etc., barley, oats, whitefish, and then down and down the list. You can see, because I mentioned blueberries, I think I saw, yeah, way down here. We've got some sweet potatoes, apples, and blueberries. It doesn't tell you how much is in there. They could put one blueberry in there, and that one blueberry can weigh more than one flake of spinach. And that's where it's going to be on the ingredient list. Certainly, blueberries are going to be more heavier by water weight than a vitamin E or copper proteinate. I can't even pronounce that. So that's how this ingredient list works. It's by weight, not by volume. And so you can think in your head, yeah, carrots with all their water are probably going to be a lot heavier than sweet potatoes, which are probably dehydrated in this case, which is going to be heavier than apples, blueberries, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's how that works. So in order to get points on the pet food scoring system, which I'll flash this little scorecard up now for those of you guys that are not familiar with it yet. They just have to be not grain free and not raw. And so there's really no medical benefits to feeding your pet grain free. And there's some concerns speculated and being worked through regarding that. And it's linked to potential heart disease. So there's just really no point in doing it. So I don't recommend that you do that unless your pet's specifically been diagnosed with a condition that requires that. And the benefits of doing that far outweigh any potential risks. So we don't want to do that. And the same thing with raw. There isn't data to suggest that there's a significant benefit there that outweighs the public health benefit and or the public health risk, as well as the risk to the pets. And that risk is real. So just so you know, like my local university that does surgeries and orthopedics, things like that, they won't even do surgery on your pet if they've been eating a raw diet. They won't allow them, I think, and even in the hospital. So it is a real concern because of the bacterial contamination that occurs. So it is a real thing. It's not just something that we mean that say, just to poo-poo and have you buy our pet food. There is a legitimate concern because, if an orthopedic surgeon is saying they're not going to cut your pet, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but the surgeon's motto is a chance to cut's a chance to cure. And if they're turning your pet away because they're eating raw and they're not going to do the surgery, that's a pretty big deal. So they don't get points for that. But this food isn't grain free and it's not raw, so they are going to get 2 points. The next thing that we want to do is the AFCO statement. Now, this food is a Canadian food, so I don't know that they actually have an AFCO statement. That is a American regulatory industry. So I don't know that we are going to find that. If it's sold in the U.S., we probably will. Let's just see if I can zoom in here. Yeah, they do have a kind of an AFCO thing on there, so maybe. Okay, here it is. Let me do find it. Okay, so it says Lotus Pet Food Oven Baked Chicken and Brown Rice formula for dogs is formulated to meet nutritional levels established by AFCO. Dog food nutrient profile is for all life stages. So they're not going to get any points here because this was formulated. They didn't do feeding trials. And then on top of that, it is all life stages. So they lose 2 points there. So they gained 2 in the ingredient list, and then they lost 2 with the feeding guidelines. So let's move on to, I'm going to keep you in suspense. We're going to do the guaranteed analysis first because, girl's got to keep her view time up. So we're going to save that to the end. Let's find the feeding guide. So for the feeding guide, if you're feeding your pet, you want to calculate the resting energy requirement. And I have a video on how to do that if you're not familiar how. But it's body weight in kilograms to the 0.75 exponent times 70. Or there's various charts out there that you can use that have that calculated out for you. So feel free to find one of those, and I have some linked in some of my videos, so you can use that. I am not seeing the feeding guide. Oh, there it is. Okay, let's see. Okay, so what we want to do is ideally I like to find what is this? It's a 4 pound bag, and is that what that is? Yeah, it is. That's just the bag size. So I like to do 20 pounds because I feel like 20 pounds is, I mean, my dog's 20 pounds. So I kind of go based on that, and I use that number every time. So I know what it is. The resting energy requirement is between 363 for a very sedentary pet up to 538 for a more active one. And so we want somewhere in that range. Now they're not listing that, they're listing 25. So we're going to have to pull up, keep looking behind me because I think I have an appointment coming in the next 7 minutes. So we may have to pause here. I'm seeing Coco. Something stung Coco in the face and her face is swollen. So that's what we're going to be doing here in a minute. On that note, if you guys are ever interested in what I do on a daily basis, I could do some videos like weekly recaps just to kind of let you know, because some of my weeks are really crazy. I think a lot of people don't understand or appreciate, not appreciate like from a thankful sense, but like appreciate from a what exactly veterinarians do standpoint, what we do. So I would be happy to kind of share that with you guys if that's something that you would be interested in, a little series of, my day to day. All right, so 25 pounds, 433, 433, 433, or 433 point, or times 1.6, because that would be the high end. All right, I'm gonna do some math. Okay, I'm back. I just saw Coco. It was not a bug bite. It was actually a tooth abscess. So, just public service announcement: if your dog, specifically dogs as a species, develop a swelling below the eye, get them to your vet immediately, because it's probably not a bug bite. It is probably an abscess of the molar that is just below the tooth. So they brought Coco in right away. We're going to get that taken care of. But yeah, that was Coco. She'll be fine. All right, so calories. So I had to look on the package to find the kcals per cup because it wasn't really available readily. So if you zoom in, like here, you can see it, 398 kcals per cup. And so we said we needed what, 400 and something. So they're saying that they would like us to feed our 25-pound dog 2 cups. So 2 cups of that, I think that's gonna be way too much. So 398 times 2 cups is 796. And so let's see, if we do 433 and we do the multiplier, yeah, it's gonna be too much. So they're not gonna get a point for the feeding guide. They're suggesting way overfeeding. So let's see what they say down here. So when it's an all life stage food, the feeding guide does get a little bit deranged, for lack of a better word. It's saying providing increasing amounts of food the latter half of gestation. The amount may be twice normal intake, feed to consumption during lactation. And that's not exactly true either. That Yeah, none of this is correct. Introduce food the 5th week and provide as much food as a puppy will consume, and from weaning until full grown. Yeah, that is a totally no on that. So I feel like I should even give negative points for this because the advice they're giving is so bad. But we're just gonna say 0 points there. So far we got 2 points for the ingredient list. We have 0 points for the feeding guide, and we had 0 points for the AFCO statement, bringing us up to a grand total of 2. Now, if you know how to calculate the feeding guide, you may say to yourself, "Well, I just really don't care about Dr. A's points or not points on the feeding guide." Excuse me, I said -2, it's -1 point. You may say to yourself, "Well, I don't really care, I can calculate it myself," and that's fine. You can adjust the Doctorate's pet food scoring system however you want in your own personal home. I really don't. I will never know. So you can definitely do that, or you can even substitute it if you want for something else that may be something that you want to strategically and methodically evaluate every pet food for. And so you can do that. Totally can do that. But for me, they're not going to get a point there. So 2 points. 2 points so far. Now we're getting into the guaranteed analysis. Now we're not actually going to use the guaranteed analysis. As you can see, we've got these little dirty words here, minimum and maximum. And we don't want that. We want to know specifically what is in the food exactly, because I don't want a minimum. What if this crude fat is 52? That's going to be way too high. So we don't want that. So what you need to do if you're evaluating Lotus foods, you need to go to this detailed nutrient panel here, and you'll see that we've got the first area is as fed. You can see the minimum and maximum has gone away. But the problem with this is it's got all the moisture included right there. This is 10%. These are 10% off because of the moisture. So think of it that way. We don't want parameters that are 10% off. We want accurate. So you have to go down here to the dry matter analysis. Now, if they don't list that on the particular food that you're evaluating, you can always call and ask them for that. And if you don't feel like asking them for that, you can always do the conversion as long as you have the parameter and then you have the moisture. You can convert it yourself to dry matter basis. I have a video on that as well. If you want to learn how to do that, it's not a hard calculation, but a lot of the companies will just provide it if you call and ask them. So here we go. Dry matter basis, and the parameters are here, and all the ones that we are going to be evaluating are here. So protein, fat, phosphorus, calcium, fiber. Those are the ones that we're going to be doing. And they do have some bonus ones here that I do believe I have on my chart. So we will also, be able to utilize some of those as well. But we're only going to get a maximum of 5 points here on the, I say guaranteed analysis, but the nutrient analysis. All right. So these numbers here that we're going to use come from the textbook Small Animal Clinical Nutrition. There's a link for you guys in the description box that you can find all these numbers. I just took the numbers and I compiled them into this chart. And those numbers are derived from data. They're not anecdotal, and they're from clinical research. And so that's why I use that, because I'm data driven. And so I didn't make these numbers up. They're not my personal feelings. They're from the text. And so feel free to reference that if you want to have more parameters you want to look at, or you want to know why these are the ranges, or you want to read the papers that are associated with these. That's all available for you. So we are going to shoot for this ideal range. This is not AFCO. Again, this is not AFCO. This is numbers for ideal nutrition from Small Animal Clinical Nutrition Text. AFCO is not an agency that is out to promote pet health. AFCO is an agency that is a consumer protection agency that is concerned with the labeling of pet food, and that the labeling of pet food follows their regulations. And so they, for example, have lots of minimums because they don't want a pet food company to falsely advertise that they're putting a certain amount in a food and they're below that. But they don't care about the maximums, even though we all know that there is a safe maximum level for certain nutrients. So that is why we're using these numbers from Small Animal Clinical Nutrition and not AFCO numbers. All right, so protein's the first parameter we're going to be looking at, and this Lotus brand is coming in at 26.92, which you can see is nicely situated between 15 and 30, so you can get a point there. Fat at 13.47 is between 10 and 20, so they're going to get a point there. And they got fiber at 3, which is less than 5, so you're going to point there, so it's 3 points so far. Then we get into the phosphorus and minerals. This is where a lot of companies kind of are a little lackadaisical. And we want our phosphorus no higher than 0. 0.4 there, or 0.8. They're at 0.84. And I'm going to give them a point for that because I said earlier in one of my videos that I wouldn't deduct it if it was 100th off. And so I'm a woman of my word. And so we are going to give a point for that. And then calcium at 0.93 is well within this range between 0.5 and 1. So you're going to get a point there. So that's pretty good, in my opinion, dry matter analysis. And so that's going to bring this food up to a 5, 6, 7. And so when I do these scoring, and people will ask me all the time, well, what do I feed? What is a good food? What is a good food? I feel like a good food, or at least a good beginning bones evaluation, of a pet food is if they get a 7, 8, 9, or 10. You can see this food had some deductions. The feeding guide was off, so they lost some points. The AFCO statement wasn't how I like to see it, so they lost some points. But the bare bone, the bones of this food, the dry matter analysis, and was it grain free or was it raw, and all that. The bones were there, and so this food still made it up to a 7, and I think that's a good option. Certainly, this is just a beginning evaluation. There are a lot of other factors that you should consider. Is it available to you? This is a Canadian food. Can you even get it in the US if you're in the US? Can you get it in the UK if you're in the UK? So you need to consider that. Is the price point something that you can afford and afford regularly? No, are you going to spend all your money one month and then the next month you can't afford to feed it, so you have to switch to something else? Well, that's not healthy either. Dogs need consistency. And so keep those secondary factors in mind. I'm not saying that they're not important. I'm just saying let's make sure the bones are there and then start, making concessions and things like that and other factors. Let's see. Let's go to shop. Oh, I can buy shirts and accessories. That's not what I want. I want to see what we can where we can get. Oh, you can get it all over the U.S. Okay. All right. Let's see where you can get it. You can get it. Here it is. The oven baked chicken on Chewy. Of course you can. You can get everything on Chewy. The Lotus Oven Baked Small Bites Good Grains Chicken Recipe Adult Dry Dog Food comes in a 5-pound bag at $6.60 a pound, and a 12.5-pound bag for $5.20 a pound. So if you buy it once, you buy the 12.5-pound bag, it's going to cost you $64.99. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a Lotus Pet Food by request. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I hope you guys will hang out with me again next Thursday. I don't know where we may be located. We may be in surgery again. We may not. So yeah, feel free to like and subscribe. That would really help me out. Share with your friends. Your friends need to know this information. So share my videos, and I will catch you guys later. Bye.